MLB The Show 2024, and it's still so weird to see the Sony Interactive logo and PlayStation booting up a game on my Xbox. But I'm sure that those who are playing games like Hi-Fi Rush and Pentiment and Grounded are feeling the same bit of eeriness when it comes to seeing that Xbox logo, Xbox Game Studios, on their PlayStation. So, sign of the times. Now, I love this intro. I love the history that it conveys with the game and how. And this is why I think even baseball, while it is not as popular as it used to be, it still is called America's game, America's pastime, because it is a game that has cultural significance in so many of our communities, in our history, from the Negro Leagues to the women playing during World War II. It is something that has pulled so many of us together and cheer in one voice, even when we've been divided and separated. So I think that baseball, more than other sports, still has that distinction simply because of that history. And this intro just really gives a great encapsulation of that history. Now, with this and many games of the day, you have terms and conditions you got to go through when you're setting things up and you're just starting. This one is no difference. I will say the loading screens are horrible on the Xbox One. This section you just saw, it was like a full minute and 30 seconds before we got to the whole thing with Vlad Guerrero. Now here's a code of contact. This is actually pretty benign compared to some of the other things you agree to in other games starting. Speaking of Vlad Guerrero Jr., it is so weird playing a game where he's the cover star, knowing I watched his dad playing growing up. Really absolutely crazy to think I'm that old, that this man's son is now a all-star and on the cover of a baseball game. Also, I think it's kind of cool that he's playing for a team in Canada and Vladimir Guerrero. Even though he played for many other teams, he really became known playing for the Montreal Expos when they existed. So I thought that was pretty cool. I think it is pretty cool. Now, I really love the different difficulties you can choose for this game. I mean, I would say there are too many, but everything's so distinctive and nuanced. I think it's just right. It's really cool. And again, speaks to the different types of people who love baseball. People like me who love it, just want to get in and just play and enjoy. You have others who want the difficulty. You have others who want to play a full season. Like, I just want to get in and get out and play a little bit. Camden Yards, one of the most beautiful ballparks ever. Even at 30 plus years, it is still something so magical about that place. Now, this is another loading screen that took like a minute and a half before the game actually started. I do like the aspect of, obviously, you have your tutorials, hitting, base running, pitching. As you'll see later on, I probably should have gone through some of the tutorials because it had been a minute since I played a baseball game. But even with that aspect of it, there is something that is just so unifying. If you played one baseball game, you played so many of them, even dating back to the 16-bit era specifically, because I think that's when we started to get a bit more nuance with baseball games. I think a lot of the games on the 8-bit era, especially Nintendo, Sega Master System, you had two buttons. They weren't as complex as far as the buttons and choosing pitches. But once you got into that 16-bit era, really 32-bit era, you got a lot of the gameplay mechanics that you get now. And I like using the time batting simply because that's really what I'm used to, and that's something that harkens back to the original 8-bit era, playing RBI baseball or bases loaded on the NES, which still holds a great special place in my heart to this day. And I can't think of play this game or any other baseball game without thinking, especially back to RBI baseball. That was just a king back in the day. And here we are with Gunnar Henderson, one of the top guys for the O's last year with their 100-plus win season, defying all odds and all expectations. Unfortunately, did not make it to the World Series. Got stopped but stomped hard by the Rangers in the AL Finals. And the Rangers went on to win the World Series. And look, the Rangers won a tear last year, so I totally get that. It's not like it was a fluke. Not like they didn't deserve it. They deserved the win. But here you see it took a bit of time for me to just get a handle of the timing now. Once I get a handle of the timing, I start to connect a lot more. And once we start doing that, I'm going to start practicing the power pitches, or the power swings, the regular swings, as well as the bunt, just to get a handle on how to play with these game mechanics. As a bunt, yeah, I probably should have waited a little bit later for that one to get that onto the ground, because that would have been an automatic out. That's basically a bunt turned into an infield fly ball, would have been caught. So now we get into a full game simulation. Now, I've always enjoyed pitching, and in games like this where the different buttons correspond with the different pitches is just really cool, really exciting, and I love being able to pick where, and this is my fault, again, not playing a baseball game, after a while I forget where to throw to, and I threw the home, or I used the buttons for the home instead of first base, which should have been an out, so they ascribed that as an error on the fielder. So it took me a minute to get a handle on the pitching here. While it's something I'm not unaccustomed to, I need to get back to the swing of things, and I will definitely play more of this game going forward, just to get a better handle, and also just to get some baseball in, man. It's baseball season. I'm excited. I'm pumped. I'm hoping that the O's repeat what they did last year. Even if they don't repeat, have a winter season and make it to the playoffs and hopefully the World Series, because they have a great team. They made some good off-season additions to their pitching. So we'll see what happens. And there's something satisfying about a strikeout, especially in a game like this. The strategy of it, picking your pitches, where to actually position them or across the plate. Each batter is different, so really trying to find those nuances with each batter, it really is. It's like a duel with you and the batter. You feel that when you're playing this game. I love it. Thought he was going to steal, but he didn't. Even if he was stealing, I was slow throwing, so he would have gotten that base. I love the little diamond in the corner where you see the runner. Struck him out. There you go. Now, unfortunately, this is where my luck starts to run out after this batter. And a lot of this is due to my own ineptitude, as you will see very shortly. Okay. Got him right there, right on the corner, as Bob Uecker used to say, just a bit inside. All right, he got that slice. Now, see, I was under the impression that the batter, the fielder would automatically move. I was wrong, so that was my fault. And then I threw it to first, instead of trying to get the runner, and see, they scored on me. And this is about the time where I said, hey, I think I'm going to call it quits. So that's my take on MLB.